you left. You're right. Your brother was home when you left. You're right. The dog was home when you left. You're right. The cat was home when you left. You're right. The fish was home when you left. You're right. Your mommy, your daddy, your brother, your sister, the dog, the cat, the fish was home when you left. You're right. And that's the reason you left. You're right.
Good morning, good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women, welcome to Tony Commander J.R. Galpohkpa Chesson Talk Show. Today is December the 29th. As we wake up this morning, the news from Liberia, to the police brutality that's going on in our country, to the dysfunctional leadership, to the massive killing, rape, the ongoing crisis in our country, the election crisis. What else do we have to get into this morning? Let me bring up my lesson, and we can see where we're going from here. Today, as usual, I have my 3 topics. Representative Yekeh Koluba is home. Police brutality increase. Time to seriously review George Weah's presidency. We woke up this morning to the same craziness that's going on in our country. Well, we all saw yesterday Representative Yekeh Koluba came home. And on his coming, I was glad to see the reception he received at the airport. We need people like Yekeh Koluba in our community. I told you this in my lesson yesterday. We need people like Yekeh Koluba to help guide our country amid all that's going on. All the leaders in our country who speak out by afraid of the consequences of this George Weah government. We look to Yekeh Koluba for some kind of guidance in our house, some kind of direction for our people. What hope have we for a better Liberia? Now, Yekeh Koluba is talking about wanting to be deputy speaker. I am in support of that. I only want to caution our people, and especially Yekeh, that he has to keep in mind that as speaker, it's not a party issue. It's a Republic of Liberia issue. It's not a CPP, CDC, or anything else but the Republic of Liberia and Liberian people. So I heard his talking yesterday. I heard him say he was going to provide things for the party, for this and that. I couldn't understand him completely. But I just want to admonish him to know that whatever he does is in the best interest of Liberia and Liberian people. It's not about COP, CPP, or CDC. Our leaders cannot continue to lead our country on party lines. Our leaders cannot continue to lead our people as though they are leading a club or a team or a social event. This is the Republic of Liberia. Our leaders must be cognizant of the fact that they do not represent a group or a clique, but they represent the people of the West African Republic of Liberia. And that should be their primary objective in serving our country. So, although we're glad that Yekeh Koluba is back, although we're glad that some semblance of decency and leadership will return to the House of Representatives to guide our people, to ensure that our three branches of government remain separate and distinct. It is difficult when we have three branches of government and they are not distinct. They are not equal. They are not separate. It's a problem. Because if we have three branches of government behaving as one branch, then we do not have a democratic system of government. We do not have a leadership by the people, for the people. We don't. And to ensure our constitutional democracy, we have to ensure that our legislature remains independent, remains free, and remains equal with the executive and the judiciary. And they have to follow their mandates from the Constitution. Branches cannot overlap. Branches are free and independent. And our leaders must understand these things. And this is why I want Yekeh Koluba to be Deputy Speaker. Not so much that he knows what he's doing, but he is one person that we can depend on to speak out if there's wrong, to speak out if there need to be someone speaking out. And I'm sure that with the people around Yekeh Koluba, they can guide him. He is not a cantankerous person. He is not a person that will go above the leadership of his party. He's a game player. And even if he doesn't know the full ramification of the job, many of those people in the house do not even know what they do in the house. But we have one person who speaks out. We have one leader who stands out. With all our educated leaders, we need leaders that are not afraid of the situation and the public. They are not afraid to challenge the government in the public. And I know sometimes, Yekeh overdoes it, but he can be controlled and reeled in, and is more patriotic to Liberia than any other people up there. We know if Yekeh make mistake, it will not because it is out of hate or revenge. And we need people like that. We need people that will speak out and say, no, it is not right, and it must be addressed right away. We cannot continue beating around the bush with our leadership and with our country. So as I welcome Yekeh back, as I encourage my Liberian people to support Yekeh for the leadership of the House of Representatives, we have to keep in mind that all our elected officers are responsible and accountable to the people who put them into power. So, although it is the chambers, the legislature decision to elect their deputy speaker, the people can resonate their voices and make it heard and amplify throughout the House of Representatives, that the people who are going to elect the deputy speaker will know that the Liberian people have a grave concern in who they elect as the deputy speaker of the Republic of Liberia. We don't need the same people, the same yes men, the same people who will do anything George Weah said. We don't need it, because in Liberia we need three separate and distinct branches of government. If we have only one branch of government that all the other branches succumb to, then we do not have a democracy. We have something far different than what I know as a democracy. A hint to the wise is sufficient, my people. God does not come down to talk to us. He sends people like a Tony Commander, Galpohkpa Chesson, to spread his message of constitutional democracy, truth, justice, and the rule of law. Well, I'm back. I guess my graphics slowing up a little bit, but let's get into my show again. My second topic is police brutality. Yesterday, I watched that tape of Christoph, that little kid. Although the facts were mixed up, they're still mixed up because we heard that he called for the police for his girlfriend, and some people saying he got beat up. And after the police came, they just started brutalizing him. So I wanted to know, why would the police just brutalize him? So later on, I went and I saw the Daily Observer had a newspaper report on the situation. So I read it, and they said that he did call the police. When the police came, while they were talking at the station, he got aggressive. And when they went to follow him to go where the girl was, or he reported a girlfriend or something. When they got there, he picked up a club or something like that and started hitting one of the police, and that's why they beat him, they handcuff him, they brutalize him in revenge for his actions and all of that. So although he did attack them, the newspaper said, but once you put a man in handcuffs, you can't touch him again. You beating a man who cannot defend himself. And that's police brutality. I saw them hitting that guy on the head, punching him. You can't do that. And these are the things that come back to haunt us. When we get all new police, get 300 people now, 300 new police officers on the street, people already suspecting them of being employed as members of CDC to perpetrate violence in the city. Then here we see them beating the people beating this one man in the public, all these police around him, having sitting on the ground and all of that. We don't know the full story, but we just deal with what we see. And when we see a man handcuffed and police beating him, we know that's wrong. We know that's brutality. Okay? Now, this paper went on, front page went on to say how this kid has admitted that he's a homosexual. That as a kid playing for a football team, Robert Salif, the son of Ellie Johnson Salif, was chairman of that team, or captain or something, chief or something, chief executive of the team. And he started loving to the little boy. And now that he's a man, this boy's still in love with Robert. And he coming out of the closet now since this incident and saying yes, he has had an affair with Robert Salif. And these are the things that are bothering our society today. The same Robert Salif, Ellen Johnson's children, and how Ellen Johnson's family has destroyed Liberia. She put her children in government. One of them is involved with stealing our billions of dollars. The other one, Robert Salif, the same useless man, is responsible for depleting the resources for our oil company. And he walking around Liberia free, talking about he want to run for position again. How will we just circulate all these rogues in our country? Now this man is a child molester. He's a child corrupter. He's a gay man who was selling our government positions to sleep with people. Before you get employed, you got to sleep with Robert Salif. Now that his mom has left government, he's just a predator in our society. And we got to pull Robert Salif out of Liberian society, prosecute him for a crime against Liberian people and a massive stealing, and put him in jail. I want the people flocked. That's why we have to send a loud and clear message with people like Robert Salif, who is a corrupter of the miners of the Republic of Liberia, a useless man, the son of Ellie Johnson Salif, whose whole family need to go in jail. And all of this comes down to the brutality of our children, to using the instrumentalities of the Republic of Liberia to perpetrate perverted acts of Ellen Johnson Salif and her children. Ellen Johnson Salif is a threat to the future of Liberia. Ellen Johnson and Salif and her children are a threat to the peace and harmony in the Liberian society. They are a threat to the moral existence of our society. They must be removed, criminalized, and imprisoned. Ellen Johnson Salif is not a good leader of the Republic of Liberia. She wasn't then, and she isn't now. And it's time for us to prosecute Ellen Johnson Salif and her family according to the laws of the West African Republic of Liberia. George, fucking preacher, country giant, zombie dancer, Rasta singer, Mane Oponwia, has been president for 3 years of Liberia. and nothing seems to be going right. Nothing seems to be satisfactory and in the interest of the Liberian people. Everything this man is doing is either cheap or mediocre. Look at all the roads he building. Those roads will not last for his term. Those roads will not last on the next year. Look at our city, how it's all dirty and messy. These people have no concept of cleanliness. They are nasty people. Look at our country. Look at our children. Look at how our people are living. We have to and must review George Weah's presidency. Seriously, it is time for him to go. I don't know how you can do it. I ain't going to tell you how to do it. But review George Weah's record. It's time for George Weah to go. The incompetence is unbearable. The criminality is ungodly. The state of our nation among nations in the world is disheartening. How long will we let ignorant and incompetent people control lives and destiny of our people? How long will we let petty stealing, corruption in our society be the order of the day when we could have a far better society? When we review George Weah, it would take us right back to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. And my people, this woman cannot enjoy over our country. I was listening to Yekeh Mumbo, one of our lay advocates here this morning, and he was talking about Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and her excesses, all the grants and money she got, how our country flourished with money on Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. And what happened to all that money? What happened to all that money? All that donor money that were coming into the country, what happened to all that money? Nothing is accounted for today. How will we have all that money and the fucking preacher has bankrupt our country? How? 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 The time of the Liberian people is now. That's why I wrote on Yekeh's site when you were talking. I see your eyes are finally opening. Your eyes are finally opening. Y'all cannot leave my Ellen Johnson Sirleaf alone and jump on George Weah. My Ellen Sirleaf is the major criminal. She destroyed Liberia and she must answer for George Weah. I have nothing else for you today. I must take my leave now. Until we come to our consciousness to see the realities of who betrayed us, who killed our children, who is the demon of Liberian society, you know that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf cannot go free. The time of the Liberian people, true revolution, is now. Let us punish all these people who have stolen from us. Let us remove George Weah and put a strong leadership in that will not need no war crimes code, but will have people among Liberians to come and punish these people, plead their cause, and let justice fall wherever it may. The time of the Liberian people's true revolution is now. Aluta. Continua. Have a good day.